It always comes to this. More nice shit. Hello there guys, here to do another tattoo progress update today. Where I last left off, I showed off my second pass hand red out tattoo. In that video I talked about the potential of getting tattooed again the next day, and that's exactly what happened. But before I get into that, I'll talk about the healing of my hand tattoo. So it's been 3 days now. It went through a very, very scary looking phase, just like I said it would. I should have taken some photos, but it was still weepy even this morning. It was weepy for longer than it was last time, but I actually think that's a good thing. Quite often, if a tattoo isn't weepy at all and it's like solid full color saturation, it probably means that you didn't get enough color in, or it didn't get in deep enough. You worked maybe the top layer a little bit too much. And so when I seen it weeping, it generally will mean that there's probably too much color under there for the skin to take, or at least that's been my experience. And so the result is I can see a lot more red in this tattoo than I could last time. That being said, it is a second pass. That should be the case. But even as it was healing last time, I could see a lot of black through the red. So it looks kind of like translucent in places, or like see-through. There is still some of that here. You can see it more and more as the swelling comes down. So like when it's first done, the skin puffs up, and so you can't see every bit of the skin as it is. And there's also a lot of red on the top layer, or this happens with any color. This happens with black as well. But as the tattoo gets washed and cleaned and it settles out, you can kind of see the spots that need to be saturated still. Now at this time, you can't see as much of that. So even when I close my hand and really expose the knuckles, you can see it's a lot redder. There are still some black spots in there that will need to be done again. Again, I'm game for up to 5 sessions on this before we call it. But I do think I need to take a little bit longer in between this time. Just because the skin has been worked pretty hard, and that's all scar tissue in there. So I'm not really wanting to destroy my hand over this. But maybe take a month and a half, 2 months off this time, where we took only 4 weeks off this last time. That being said, it is healing really, really well, just like I knew it would. But if I had showed this off yesterday, you might have assumed that it wasn't healing well. There's some spots in there that are real dry and crispy. That's the way I wanted to heal this. So now I can begin my Aquaphor coat, twice daily type thing. But I wanted to get it nice and sealed up so it wasn't all mushy. And again, it was weeping for the first couple days. So this is, day 3, and it's exactly where I want it to be. And man, does that rose glow in there. Anyway, talk about what I got done with Rick. So we had the session. Rick came in. He thought his his appointment was only a consult. So he ended up tattooing that guy. The guy didn't seem to mind. It was the craziest thing. I was like, no, Rick, you've already talked to this guy. You need to tattoo him, today. And the guy didn't even want to get tattooed. It felt like he was anxious or something. He's like, no, it's okay. I don't need to get tattooed today. I'll get tattooed in a month. So anyway, we rebooked the guy, and Rick worked on me, and he apologized a lot for canceling our other appointment. And I got into this a little bit last time, talking about the shenanigans I've experienced in this industry, but a lot of those have been with Rick and people like Rick, older tattooers that I used to get tattooed by. But I did a video about Rick, my tattoo artist Rick, and kind of his past, and I'd say that was probably 6 months or more ago now. So I'll just touch on it briefly. But Rick was a biker and a bit of a drinker, and definitely had a lot of concussions, and he's been in a lot of fights over the years, and he's had concussions, and I think he has some real problems in his brain these days. And he's still really smart, but I think his memory is deeply challenged. The only way he can ever remember anyone seems like is if he sees the tattoo he's doing on them, especially if you've only been in with him a few times. So while he's wildly talented and can tattoo just about anything, I often say he could cover up any tattoo, and if you dropped him off in the middle of the ocean, he'd find land when it comes to tattoos. But his memory ain't what it used to be, and he's got real bad problems with his sinuses, and he's got vertigo and all these problems. Like, he's like kind of an old banged up prize fighter, and you should have seen him when he was young, and that kind of a thing. He's kind of a war-torn old broken down wagon. And when I first got in here, I felt kind of scared of him, like, because I'm a manager here, and I kind of have to delegate to him, and I run his books, and I was a little intimidated by the guy, even though I've been tattooed by him for years. But as the last year and some has gone on, my fear of him has become more pity or sadness for him, where I see that there's a real good person in there that's just had a lot of shit, and there's a lot of repression and things that just don't work quite right. He doesn't know how to articulate or explain himself, and so quite often he comes across as scary and intimidating, and that's not him. He's more of a soft-spoken teddy bear than he is that, and he's sometimes afraid to communicate because I feel like he thinks he'll be misinterpreted as angry or whatever. Whatever the case is, you don't get that from him, and you have to kind of be a mind reader or be around him for a long time to understand that. So the way he comes across versus who he is are two different things. But anyway, I don't want to get too much into that. I feel like I could do a whole fucking hour on Rick and how he is the way he is. But I've had some people who want to know more about him because he's done so much work on me. And so I feel like talking a bit about it's probably not bad, especially because he has no real social media presence. And the only way people know of him is basically by me advertising him. But he is no expert on black on black or color on black in particular. The reason why it works so well for Rick is because he's been covering up tattoos forever. All he's worked on for the last 20 years is cover-ups, and basically since he picked up a tattoo machine, he's been doing them to some capacity. Because in this city, especially, there's no shortage of bad tattoos being done and cover-up projects. Anyway, I'll finally get into what we did. We did the rest of the thick outline on my arm. We did about 3 hours. There's actually a lot in here. And again, my elbows are a little dry, but they are solid. So you can see they have that shine on them from the light. But the line you did over my elbow actually stayed really well. All this stuff is really super bold and dark, so I have no hard time believing it's going to hold. There is just this one spot that we did last week that I showed off that didn't take as well. But overall, everything else did really well, and it's holding up. So the whole stretch of the arm's looking pretty cool now. We do still have all the little lines, all the detail lines to do. I think he'll probably do all those in one session. It'll be another 3 or 4 hour session, but that's what Rick's been putting in on me lately anyway. He seems legitimately inspired and excited to be working on this sleeve. And for him, the difference in being interested in what he's doing versus not is a big deal, especially this late in his career where he's done just about everything more than once, and his interest wanes a lot if it's something that he's not that motivated by. So the fact that he's liking this project is making for longer sessions and more interesting sessions. I think I'll get a better product because he likes it. Anyway, not to say he does bad work normally, because everything he's working on is pretty great. He just finished this Geiger sleeve and this other trash polka sleeve the other day. They're completely different sleeves. He did them back to back, and they're both like pretty well world-class pieces, but he can't get a fucking photo to save his life. So again, he should let me take his pictures for him, but he's been taking his own pictures forever. He doesn't need help now, so whatever. Yeah, our next session is going to be on my chest. Because my whole arm is in some state of healing now. He wants to give it a week off anyway, so I'm getting what I wanted. I didn't want to be done with the chest yet. I feel like one more good session in the face would really help a lot. And it's mostly done now, but I do feel like there's just a little bit to do everywhere in the face. I think the tentacles are fine. I think the black helped a lot up here, especially with the red in there. It really does frame the brain and push it out. But we've got just a lot of little things that we can do in here that will make a big difference with the whole chest piece. So, yeah, that'll be session 22 technically on the chest. And I think it's going to be a really good session, and especially because we'll just focus on the chest that day. There won't be any sleeve involvement in that session, where there was in the last time we worked on this. So, and especially since everything's already there and pretty solid, whatever we do is going to be really reactive. So it's not going to be like putting in first color. Everything's been done at least once. So, for example, we need to finish the ridge here. And this set of eyes doesn't have as much color. And then I wanted to get some more color into the bottom of this. We don't want that super bright because it's going to be coming out of the shadow. That's already kind of the idea. So not a whole lot to do down there, but just a bit. And then again, the white in this tooth here didn't take as well as the other one. So just a little bit of all over the place there. And I think it'll make a big difference. Anyway, yeah, I'll show this off again. I know I didn't talk much about this, but I feel like I'll be talking about my sleeve a lot anyway. And this is just one of many sessions. This is already session 5 on this sleeve, believe it or not. So it's going to be a lot of work still. And I'm really looking forward to it. But I'm really looking forward to finishing up the chest, getting to a place where we can leave it for a couple years even, because this stuff seems to sit really well once you get it in there. But getting it in there is the hard part. And again, the hand is healing great. When I show this off again, it will be pretty well peeled. There'll still be some chunky stuff in there, but no swelling left. So we're on the right path at day 3. And for day 3 to have no swelling on a full saturation hand tattoo is actually pretty good, especially on my scar tissue. Anyway, it's been a long day, so I'll wrap this one up. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day.